Na 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 diva is a female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler. Na 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 diva is a female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler. Stop the track.
Okay, yes, everyone. I hate this fake voice that I do every time I start on one of these videos. I don't know where it comes from, but I guess that's how I have to start off. Anyway, doing a quick tutorial, doing a video on my experience of the BET Hip Hop Awards. It's going to be airing this Tuesday, October the 7th. So I wanted to just do a video on my experience at the awards and some other events that I went to pertaining to the awards. The awards was different. It was different. This is my first award show. It was the BET Hip Hop Awards, which is usually here in Atlanta. So it represents like the rappers, the more hip hop side of things, i.e. the name Hip Hop Awards show. I had no idea that it starts as early as it does, because I know it comes on TV like 7 or 8 o'clock. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna go around 7 or 8 o'clock. I'm normally late to events, so I'm like, no big deal. Come to find out that because it's a production, everything is very timely and very time oriented, so it just kind of threw my whole entire day off. I had a lot of things planned that I needed to do. I actually missed a very important event due to poor planning, but the show started at 5. You need to be there by 4:45 and in your seat so the filming can begin. And it's just like nothing you've seen on TV. It wasn't a live, it's not a live show, so you know, it's pre-recorded. So basically, I mean, all the hip hop artists that you can think of were definitely there. I'm so bad on my hip hop nowadays. 2 Chainz, who was like the crowd favorite. T.I., who was my favorite. What's his name? Amber Rose's dude. I know it. Wiz Khalifa, he was there. Just a bunch of great people. Missy Elliott performed. Busta Rhymes performed. They did a tribute to a gentleman by the name of Chris Lighty, who I personally do not know much about, but I happened to be sitting by a lot of people that was from the New York area, so they know all about Chris Lighty. He was very heavy in the music industry and worked with a lot of people and put a lot of people on, and you know, he's one of those behind the scenes people, so you know, a lot of people doesn't know about him because he's not an artist per se. But you know, without the behind the scenes people, these artists really don't have much. So if you don't know him and you want to know more about him, look him up. But they did a tribute to him, which was the best part of the BET Hip Hop Awards, because it brought out everybody from Q-Tip to Missy to Busta, who I love. So it was just great, and those are people who you don't see that often right now, and just real rap music and not all this bubblegum crazy foolishness that we listen to these days, because it has a great beat. But I'm not hating. Back to the show. So basically, you're there. You can't use your cell phone, so you can't tweet, you can't Facebook, you can't even text. And they're like really like the monitors are like really, ushers and things, they're really paying attention. Like if you even pull out your phone, it's like they're all over the place. They're in front of you, they're behind you. So when you pull out that phone, they see you and they're coming to you. They're going to warn you a couple of times, and you keep on, they're going to put you out. So we actually saw a couple of people get put out for using their cell phones more after they were warned a few times. So that was interesting, because I was really ready to tweet and talk about the show and, you know, follow along with the Facebook and my friends and everything and what was going on in the moment, but I couldn't even do that. On top of that, I had just got my iPhone 5 and the ticket said don't bring any cell phones at all into the venue. So like a dummy, I said, well, I'm just going to leave one of my phones just in case, so if they take it they'll only take one. But that was so dumb. This is 2012. Ain't nobody taking nobody's phone. But I didn't have any contacts or anything in my new phone anyway, so I was still like, what the hell, it doesn't even matter. So that was that. My best performance of the evening was definitely the Chris Lighty tribute. I learned a lot about the new rappers. One guy that I was surprised that won an award was, I think his name is Kendrick, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not going to be the best with these names here. But it was interesting because it felt like, you know, when I was talking to people, they're like, man, these awards, they last all night. Just prepare to be in there. Once it gets started, you can't leave. But it started on time. It started at 5, and then after that, it was over around 8 o'clock. Really, it was. And I was not prepared for it to be over. I'm like, is there more? Is there more? Especially after that last performance that they had just did. So, that was that. What else took place at the awards? At the end of the awards, as you all have probably heard, which I did not see because it happened behind stage, Rick Ross and the Jeezy camp got into a fight. Y'all make too much money to be fighting. Like, whatever your problems are, talk it out like men. There really shouldn't even be any problems. You go where you go. You go where you go. If somebody says something, who cares? Y'all Negroes are rich. Act like it. You know, y'all not on the streets anymore. That foolishness needs to be done with. But again, I'm not judging. I don't know nothing. I wasn't there. That's just my personal opinion based on information that I've heard. Whatever. So that's that. It was interesting because you watch the awards and you just see everything run so smoothly. You might hear a curse word that comes through by mistake, but that's like the most. Or you might see a titty, like that year with Janet Jackson, but nothing really major. The interesting thing about a show that's pre-recorded is if the performance doesn't go accurately, they're going to redo it. So a couple of artists performed their songs a couple of times, so I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. Being because the crowd wasn't hype enough or whatever the case may be, or if they made a mistake, they'll actually run it back and you have to do it all over again like it never happened. So that was interesting. It definitely made me feel, you know, I do want to continue to go to award shows, but I would probably prefer live shows. And definitely, my seats were cool. But I definitely need to get me a celebrity friend because I want to be down there in the midst of it all. And I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So no worries about that. You gotta crawl before you can walk and before you can run. So there you go. That is pretty much it. I'm trying to think. It just felt really short. It just felt like I wasn't there that long. It felt like they gave out like 3 awards. I'm sure I could be mistaken. It probably was 5. Mike Epps was the host. He didn't do much. He did a little couple skits here and there, but nothing major at all. So I was just really shocked because it seemed like when you watch it on TV, it's so much more flamboyantness and just seems longer. I don't know. But anyway, I'm hoping I'm not leaving anything out. Who else was there that you all probably would like to know of? I think that's all the main people. Amber Rose was there as well. Jeezy definitely. I think that's it. If y'all have any questions, just ask me because it's been almost a week now, so I'm getting old and I'm kind of forgetting. Other than that, I went out to eat at Ocean Prime after that, where Jeezy was also there having dinner. So that was cool. We go there all the time, me and my homie, and eat dinner there. The best lobster and steak you want to have. He always tells me if you're single and you got some money that you can afford to eat there, that's where you want to go to pick you up some men, because there's always some nice people walking in and out of that place, and you know they always probably want to meet a pretty lady. So that might be a good move for you single ladies if you want to know where you can find some nice established men in town. I guess that's what he tells me. I'm just relaying the message. From there we went to Compound, and Compound was definitely jumping. It was crazy. We were in the VIP area. Chris Brown was there, Jeezy was there, P. Diddy was there, and a lot of other people who I probably just don't know by face, but tons of industry people were there definitely. Funny, man. I mean, I guess because Chris Brown and Diddy were there, and I guess we don't see them in Atlanta as much as we probably see Jeezy or whatever the case may be. So girls were going literally crazy trying to get as close as possible as they can. So my general rule since I moved here, clubbing gets old. So I'm like, if I'm going to go to the club, first it was like I just had a good time going to the club. Then it got to the point where if I'm not going to be in VIP, then I'm not going to the club. Now it's to the point where if I am in VIP, it's still too much. It's just so chaotic. People just bumping up on you. It's just overly crowded and it's just not enjoyable. And I hate to sound like an old hag and like I've been doing this for years, but I just want to start doing small parties, more intimate scenes, because I guess I am getting old. I'm just not feeling it. VIP, un-VIP is just too much for my soul. It's just too much packed up on me and spilling drinks all over me and stepping on my $130 shoes that look a mess. I ain't rich. But y'all be messing up my shoes in one night. I just can't do it. So I'm pretty much done with that. And the reason why I know I'm done, I'm in love with LeBron James. He's in town tonight as we speak. I've been at the club when I first moved to Atlanta at 9 o'clock to see this dude. So that's how much I like LeBron James. If I'm not going tonight, that means that I really am done with clubbing to that degree. So anywho, that was that. That was the night of the BET Awards, which was last Saturday. They just had a lot of events leading up to that Saturday that I participated in. The main one being an ASCAP event that was honoring legends from the Atlanta area, or had a heavy influence of Atlanta music. So that was good because, like I said, it was more of an intimate party. It was at the W in Midtown. I would say probably mostly invite only, you know, or you know, you were either in the music industry and you knew about it, because ASCAP is basically for songwriters and publishers. So yeah, it was a lot of great people there. I was able to meet a lot of people, shake some hands, unlike you are able to do in the club. I guess I've just transitioned from the club groupie type girl to more of the business woman. I want to make some deals and be able to talk to people, and if I can't do that, it's almost to the point where I don't need to be there. But yeah, they were honoring legends that contribute to Atlanta music in some form or fashion. Like I said, ASCAP was the sponsor of that. So I jotted down this lady's name. Her name is Jennifer Drake. She was one of the hostesses. She's actually the director over Rhythm and Soul at ASCAP. And there was another guy that was with her that was kind of doing some hosting as well, but I did not get a chance to get his name. But Jermaine Dupri was there, Vince Phillips was there, Divine Stevens was there. Just a lot of great people were in the building, and they honored 5 people. And those 5 people include Michael Malden, who many people, well, I know, I didn't know, which actually Jermaine Dupri's father, and who kind of helped Jermaine Dupri to get into music and, you know, help him to establish the brand and the man that he is today. So that was interesting to learn. I'm like a sponge for information. I don't care if it's hip hop. I don't care if it's political. I like to learn new information. So that was interesting. He's helped people from Luther Vandross to Lena Horne. He started out just being a band helper, basically, you know, and then because he was so loyal and just good at what he did, he grew through the industry. He ended up being, I think it was Columbia Records, one of the first black presidents over a division for Columbia Records. So he was one that was honored. They also honored Noontime Records, which was, I want to say, from what I gathered, was more like a production company, maybe one of the first, that kind of housed producers and songwriters here in the Atlanta area. People like Jazzy Faye, that you may be familiar with, who was also there. So 2 guys were there. They were established back in 1997 by Ryan Glover, Chris Hicks, and Henry Lee. So 2 of those 3 were there, and I can't tell you for sure which 2 those were, but I do know that they were being honored, and that they've established a lot to the music industry here in Atlanta. Also, Pebbles, which was the only lady of the evening to be rewarded. You all probably know her from way back in the day, and I'm not gonna say way back in the day, but from back in the day, from Do You Wanna Ride in My Mercedes, Boy? Anyway, she was there, and she goes by Sister Perry these days. She's a Christian lady, very positive, you know, just changed her life for the better, you know, not to say that it was bad, but I guess it was just more secular when she was more or less in the music industry. So she's kind of, you know, changed it around, and I commend her and appreciate her for that, being a lady that's kind of transitioning from a lot of ratchetness that I used to do to wanting to be better in the future. So I'm definitely going to reach out to her just on a role model tip, because I think she is good people. But she had a lot to do with LaFace Records, that was owned by L.A. Reid and Babyface. But she used to be the wife to L.A. Reid, and you know, she kind of knew a lot about the music industry. She was basically the organizer, the imager, the songwriter for TLC. That was her baby. They did end up having a little bit of bad blood. Everybody knows about that. But outside of that, you know, that was her thing. And TLC, I think today is still one of the, if not the largest selling female group ever. So she was directly involved with that. It was said that she gave a lot of advice to LA and Babyface directly, and you know, she was really a part of that move here in Atlanta and the music scene blowing up. And if it had not been for her, you know, it probably wouldn't be to like it is today as fast as it did happen. She was from up north, from Cali. She had been in the industry for a while, so she had a lot of information to share and help everything grow here. She saw that there was a void here in Atlanta, so she kind of encouraged Babyface in LA to move here and, you know, get the ball rolling, which was a great move because now we got Usher, we got TLC, we got Outkast, we got Goody Mob, you know, so all these good things. So that, she kind of had her hand in that. So, you know, she contributed to that. So what's that? 1, 2, 3. Also, an attorney, an entertainment attorney was also honored. And I'm so dumb, I did not write down his last name. But anyway, his first name was Kendall. He's an entertainment attorney here who works with a lot of great people, who's been working with a lot of great people for a very, very long time. So he was also honored with an award. And last but not least, I'm gonna stop talking about him like this because one day I'm gonna be kind of famous and I don't want to be disrespectful to Tiny. But until then, T.I. He was there and he was honored. He was like, I think I'm a little bit too young to be in this category, but I'll take it. But he's done his thing. I just love to watch his transition. Like, he really started out as a thug, hoodlum, a real gangster in the streets, selling dope and crack and everything else. And just to see where he is today, and even though he still has that raw edge, he does give off a lot of positivity. But he does still keep it real. He does try to help out the youth. He's not ratchet, in my opinion. It's just so much ratchet, S-H-I-T, in this musicness right now. That musicness is not a word, but I create words all the time. And it's just so sad to me. Ugh. Like the 2 Chainz video. It's not even the song. The video, All I Want for My Birthday, is a Big Booty Hoe. It's the most ratchetest foolishness I've ever seen in my life. It really needs to be boycotted, in my opinion. But anyway, back to T.I. I mean, I love him as a man. I mean, he just shows you what growth is about. It's okay to be who you were, but it's okay to learn, and it's okay to change, and it's okay to want better. And when you want those things, you'll get better. So I just, you know, respect him a whole bunch. He was one of the younger people there, so I can relate to him a lot because sometimes I get a little discouraged. I'm like, you know, I'm trying and I want to do this and I want to do that. I just want to be great. I just want to be successful. But he is a prime example of just keep doing you, even if it's not where you want it to be just yet. Just keep doing you. Stay positive the best you can. Stay focused. Don't give up. And eventually it'll happen for you if you believe in yourself enough. And then he talked about the people around him, you know, that also, you know, kept him motivated as well and tried to keep him out the streets. And last final point that he brought up is that, you know, he just wants music to kind of get some character back, I guess is what he was trying to say. That it's just easy now in days for people to get on with the YouTube and the Facebook and the internet in general. And I agree with him to that to a certain extent, but also I was telling my friend is that, you know, if you were an artist that came out in the 50s and you were an artist that came out in the 70s, of course it was easier for the artists that came out in the 70s than it was for the artists that came out in the 50s. If you came out in the 90s, of course it was easier for you to come out in the 90s than it was for people to come out in the 70s. So if you came out in the 21st century, of course it's easier for you now than it was for you to come out in 1999, 2000, 2005. So that's just, you know, the natural progression of things. You all made the mistakes so the new people don't have to. But where I would interject is, it's too easy to the fact that it's ratchetness. It's just like in music, anything goes as long as the beat sounds good. And I'm guilty of listening to the music even though I've cut back a lot. But I think we need to get back to substance. And I'm not saying we got to be conscious like Common. I'm not saying that we got to just, you know, preach about black power or Martin Luther King or whatever the case may be, but substance. And I think T.I. is a healthy balance of that. He's going to give you the streets. He's going to flaunt his money. He's going to talk about his girl having a big old booty, but he's going to give you some substance. He's going to tell you, look, don't make the same mistakes that I did. And all of his music isn't ratchet. Like, today you can listen to people's albums and everything on this ratchet. Okay, so I've been talking for 20 minutes now. I'm so sorry about that. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. I hope you liked this video. I had an awesome time at the BET Hip Hop Awards, and I'm planning to go to the BET Awards in LA coming up next year. I'm going to be all over the place. Believe it. It's B. Peace.
Na na na, diva is a female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler. Na na na, diva is a female version of a hustler, of a hustler, of a hustler. Stop the track.